就结束了。
对对对。
对
或者就是如果你要是觉得 IDE 或者说你一时半会儿搞不定的话呢，你目前可以先用我这个，就是那个 Colab，这是云端的，你直接开始 code，你也不用管那么多乱七八糟的事儿，这也省事儿。如果你只是想就是说先开练的话，对
对，它其实用那个也可以，直接是用 Python 安
对
装这个.exe 也可以运行，
对对对，
没问题的。
都可以
对
都可以。它那个
对，但是
idle 就是
对，但
idle
别
就是就
复杂了，复杂了就不行了。
对对对，复
嗯，
杂的话就比较麻烦。
PyCharm 破解版。
还上复解版也可以，破解版
怎么
确实
啥意思？咱们 PyCharm 这边
是它这有
要钱吗
些有些
？PyCharm
有些
要钱吗？
不知道，我自己说实话，我自己不是很用啊。
PyCharm 要钱啊？我觉得它是不用要钱的。对，
反正我觉得 VS Code 最香，好。
行，那你就把最香的介绍给我们，我们喜
对，
欢免费的。
我觉得是最香，对，
对，我们喜欢所有免费的这个产品。
对对对，因为 PyCharm 好像是不知道有些就是如果不付钱的话，可能有些功能没法用这样子。
但是我觉得是大部分的，你现在还学不到要让你付钱的。
对，应该不需
那
要。
Java IDE 应该可以不用破解版的吧？
Java，我之前用的是 NetBeans，好像还可以。
哎，什么叫 Eclipse 的那个？
Eclipse 也可以
对啊，
，Eclipse 也可以。
不都是
不过
免费的吗？
对，就是他让你付钱的时候，你不理他就行。
觉得现在初学端用不着，应该
是，
到后期，
对
我们涉及深的，我需要更高级的库函数什么的时候，哎呀，再用。
对，但是更高级的库函数，说实话，那个 Python 直接 pip 安装一下就完事了，也不需要用它什么乱七八糟 feature 这种。
嗯，是。
对，试用30天，恶心，好吧，恶心。
但是 Adobe，他说的是 Adobe 还是 Adobe？
应该是 Adobe 吧，就是
Adobe 的话，它有免费的，它那个它不是
对
你标有 Adobe Pro，你 Adobe Reader 那种普通的是免费的。
Reader 可以，有些什么视频剪辑乱七八糟的就，没事，反正破解版就破解版，没事，反正好用就行，好吧。
作为计算机的人，首先要先学会解决这个问题，problem solving。
是的，
OK，嗯，
好，
行，
可不行，好，那我们先把 Lecture 3的关了。好turn on recordings recording 打开了，然后 brief review of yesterday，让我 brief review of yesterday OK，我们来 quickly go through 一下。OK，so 这个不是我这个讲课需要用全英文吗？还是就我其实都可以，但是就看同学们听着怎么舒服怎么来。
没有，因为那个第一天来听课的有一个小女孩，她可能是 local 的吧，然后呢，其他的应该都没有了，他们都是可以那个。我觉得可能有的时候，用这个用英文讲一讲，或者是用中文的讲讲，我觉得可能用中文，可能他们可能更接受一点。你可以问问咱们同学，你们反馈一下啊。然后呢，因为咱们就是还是比较灵活的。
积极发言，好吧，同学们。昨天可能大家都比较晒。
然后那个
再见。
应该晒啥啊？这都不是都那个什么？那个问一下都有什么想法呀、意见啊？然后呢，赶紧的那个什么。
踊跃发言，好吧，chat 里面聊起来，弹幕发起来。
弹幕发起来。没有那个现在问题说 OK，那么用英文讲和中文讲都一样是吗？
对，我都可以看
是什么？英文还是
同
中文？
学们有没有什么，都可以是吗？没什么区。OK，可以，反正就如果说觉得 用英语讲比较别扭的话，你可以在 chat 里面打一下，或者说怎么样的，反正让我知道就行了。我再重新用中文讲一遍就行。让我打开 attendance。先试一下中文一节课，可以。我看一下attendance，人们
我可告诉
没有，
你们啊，你们在座的各位同学们，将来可是上大学都是要用英文题，没人要人中文。
哦，对，确实，反正我穿插着来吧。现在还缺一个。
因为我打电话了，我已经打他电话，还没回。你们先上。
行，要不就先开始。
可以啊。
好，可以啊，知识学到啊，确实，这知识反正你要是脑袋里会 translate 的话，反正学到了之后给人 translate 一下就完事儿。行brief overview 一下昨天的这个，就是说这个 collab 这个环境呢是可以，就是说我们直接 run 这个东西。然后它就可以直接给你 output，但是说呢，其实它没有 store 在任何里面。如果你真的要 store 的话，就需要做这件事情，就是说make a equals to 5 times 3 right，and then然后就是 single line comments and multiple line comments。right，就是这里是一个井号的话，就是single line comments，and then three quotes，three single quotes are just multiple line comments。哎，如果你有很大一段东西，或者说，比如说我们学到后面比如说某一个 class 或者某一个 function，你有时候可能会需要去写 comments，就是说，比如说这个 class 干什么的，然后这个 function 就是 parameters 怎么样的，都是就是 things we'll learn in the following lectures. Sure. And then here variables talks about different type of variables, and then the syntax for assigning variables, right? And then there's a function here called type, which just gives you the type of a specific variable. And if you sometimes if you work with large code bases, you'll keep lose track of what variables means what, because sometimes it just because in Python, right, it could be int, it could be string, like it could be whatever. So you can lose track of it, and you can use type tool to get it, right? Constants. Constants are just used for like fixed numbers, right? You don't change. You don't change after you assign it, and it is all in capitals. This is industry standard, I would say. Yeah. And print function, three things to watch out. First thing, you can pass in any number of objects, and it will just help you connect it together, even though it is int. Okay, and then this sep means a separator. So for those objects, you can separate those using a separator, and whatever you want to use, and like that's the problem of printing. So end is just when the printing is ending, what line, what character you are putting it at the end. So by default, it is \n. I think in today's lecture we're gonna cover those escape characters, and because I mentioned it yesterday, but we are gonna officially define it, and give you all those use cases. Okay, variable naming. You cannot use a number or space. You cannot use number as the start of. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this. For example, you do something like 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. This is not allowed as a variable, okay? Because numbers are not allowed in the start of as the start of a variable, but it could be in there like this. Okay, so yeah, no, characters, underscores, and numbers are allowed. Space are not allowed. Number in the first are not allowed. Okay, and then here is a camel case, and the underscore fashion. Also, you cannot use keyword. Here is a list of keyword that you should avoid using. In this link, there is internal functions that you also should avoid having the same name as those. And then integers, blah, blah, blah. It has only one type, which is integers, no matter how long it is. It could be in different bases. We talked about base 16, base 2, base 8. Right? And then to increase the readability, you can add underscores, right? And then floating numbers, remember that scientific notation are also floating numbers, and then floating numbers are just for decimals. Okay, strings. Today we're gonna talk a lot more on strings, but yeah, here talked about escape characters, which we will elaborate on a lot today. And then yeah, we can concatenate a string, which means we can just add them. And then we cannot add numbers into strings. We need to first convert a number to string. Okay, and booleans are just true or false. And then user input, it just means input, and then this function input, and then you do input a message, and then you can write whatever you need. And then just to be careful of whatever you try to input, it is always treated as a string. And then I remember yeah, someone asked a question yesterday about like how do you want what happened if you really want to take in an integer. And the answer is you take it as a string and then convert it into an integer. Okay, so yeah, here is the example. Okay, so that is a brief overview of yesterday. And then yeah, so right now we are going to today's lecture. Okay, yeah, so there is two things that I want to mention. So I introduced you guys Python and Colab yesterday, and then here are two links. So this is the link for PyCharm. It is pretty popular for Python development. The other link is Visual Studio Code. Like Visual Studio Code, you can literally write anything using that. You can. I don't know if you can use it for Java, but like definitely C, C++, other kind of languages as well. So I feel like in here it has extensions and stuff. So yeah, I think what Visual Studio Code is what I mainly use. And yeah, look at those JavaScript, JSON, or whatever. It has all sorts of extensions, and I personally like it. And I will probably cover how to use it sometime at some point in our lecture when we are actually needs to do a project on our own machine. Okay, so yeah, that's a later story. So let me turn that off quickly. So yeah, the link is provided there. You can, if you know the names, you can just Google it. I mean, it is pretty easy. Go out there and find yourself. Google is always your friend. Okay, so enough of talking, and we actually should get into the lecture itself. So as I mentioned, today we are talking about strings, right? And strings are just, it is a set of characters. And I think I would say it is a list of characters. Yeah, in Python language, it is called list. So there is raw strings. So continue on the study of string from yesterday. Remember that escape characters are backslashes, right? But like sometimes if you're using a Windows specifically, the pass if you have a yeah, if you go to a specific directory and then copy that directory, you can tell that those those backslashes are used for like folders, right? And then this is like G drive, and then yeah, and then backslash, right? Like publish. This is just a sample directory, right? And if we do not use this thing called raw string. Oh yeah, let me define raw string here. So raw string is it treat backslashes not as escape characters, but just like normal characters. Okay, so like if you do not use raw strings, what you will need to do is you will have to always do a backslash. Like you always have to do double backslashes, and you don't want that because sometimes the pass can be really long, and it is pretty annoying to go there and actually change for every one of them. So yeah, you could just add a R. This R is for raw, and then yeah, so this is the pass, and then once you print it, the results is here, but like I just want to run and show you. It takes a little bit of time of initializing it. Yeah, so it is like this. And if you want to tell the difference, yeah, I mean, yeah, sometimes it well, it does behave weird here, but like what is this? You escape 0 2, and then like this pass is no longer that sort of pass, right? And then what you need to do if it is normal string is that you have to add backslashes, and yeah, just this is a trick that you don't have to type so much of stuff. Okay, and then yeah, I run this, work out nicely. All right, so since we're talking about backslashes, escape characters, right? As I mentioned before, escape characters is that when you have a special character, especially when you're dealing with a string, the special characters are those here, single quotes and double quotes, right? If you want to include a quote in your actual string and you do not want the interpreter to actually mistake that as the start of the end or the end of the string, you should use escape characters. And there are more to it, okay? So \b means go back. It is sort of like just hitting the delete button on your keyboard, okay? And then \n means next line. \r means return. This is not usually used. You don't have to worry about it. I put it there for completeness. And then this one is pretty important, \t. \t is a tab. And if you want to just go to your keyboard, then it is the key right beside the letter Q. Okay, and then what it means is when you're actually dealing with those codes, you will often hit tab, right? And those are just for 4 spaces and sometimes 8 spaces due to different configuration of the machine. And then here, backslash double quotes, already introduced it, backslash single quotes, escape the single quote, backslash, sometimes you want, I don't know, whatever reason, you want to include your include a backslash in your string. I mean, this is a good use case. So if you're dealing with directories, you sometimes need to deal with the backslashes in the string as well, and then that's how you escape it. So you do backslash, right? Means escapes the backslash. Okay, so yeah, here the next line is, it is like string equals to I mean equals to as a sign, assigned as hello, and \n means next line. Hello Charlie, good morning, and then I run this here. So this is the result. Okay, yeah. So this is another use case for \t, right? And then you can have this item, price, amount, and then total, right? And then you can have like coffee, and then \t. The price is $2.5, and you're getting 2 coffee, so the total will be $5, right? And then you just print this, and yeah, you can see the backslash. So \t means I think in this case this is 8 spaces. Okay, so it is basically saying that, you know, I have given you those 8 spaces. You can fill in whatever kind of characters in there, and if you use more than 8 spaces, then I will give you 8 more. What I mean is, for example, coffee is 6 characters, right? And then what if I add 2 e's, right? And then this is 8 characters already, and this \t is also 8 characters, right? So this is basically saying that, you know, this is already 8 characters, and you want another \t. So it does give you another \t, like it is not aligned nicely anymore. So this is something that you need to wash out using \t. But how do we deal with those situations? So if you have those, then what you should do is, for example, do something like this. Let me copy string 2 and string 3. And then what if one item is pretty long? What you can do is you add another \t, right? Yeah, so I think this could, yeah, I mean, \t can be like followed, right? So it is, oh yeah. Okay, it doesn't do the work. Yeah, but like the idea is that the \t is 8 spaces, and then you can have 2 of them connected together, and then if it does have 8 spaces, then maybe you should probably delete one of those \t here. Yeah, let me delete the entire thing. Maybe you should just delete one of the \t here. This does not look nice, so whatever. Yeah, so this is just a use case for \t, and those would be some examples. Okay, I think it is pretty clear. Okay, so yeah, you can take a guess. I am just being evil here. I have a random string with those backslashes, and you know, try to actually read or try to actually predict what's the outcome of those this entire thing. I mean, you can try to type on the chat if you have the answer. I can probably give you like 3 minutes. So until 3:30, and then yeah, I just want to take a look at how you guys are understanding this escape characters. It is pretty important most of the time. right? So you can just easily do it by like going through each of the world, right? And then just read W. Okay, those are just normal ones, and then you have like \t. So what you should do should be pretty clear. And then yeah, \b means go back. And then yeah. All right, I believe it is 3:30. Sort of like what is going on? Yeah. With some index. What does index mean? Like I don't think there should be some index there, but like it is sort of like what is going on, but like there is some extra stuff in it. Yeah, some spaces definitely. So let me before I show you the answer, we can go through it, right? So this is normal. What is what? \b means you delete this t, right? Okay, so I mean this is nasty because there is a t and then the \t as well, so it is pretty difficult to read. I'm just being evil here. Don't do this in your assignments and give it to me. Okay, so yeah, so \b is delete this t, and then you have add this t, right? And then you basically escapes this quote, right? So it's like what's, right? So this part is what's, right? And then you have a space, right? The space is just treated as a space. You have another \t. It just gives you like I think 2 or 3 extra spaces, because I think it counts for those characters. But yeah, here after the \t, you have G, right? G is just G, and then you have another here double backslash. Double backslash means escape the backslash. So the actual string will look like G and then backslash, right? And then I'm deleting it again. Yay. So \b means I just delete that backslash, and then the rest continues going, right? And then so it is like what is going. And then you have on a, so it just escapes with a backslash, and then that is the end of string. So yeah, the end product looks like this. This is pretty funny, to be honest. Yeah, so 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And then this \t makes this a multiple of 8, right? So this is 1 times 8. So there are 8 spaces here, and then you continue by like going, right? And then going is here. Here is 1 space, and then for on, you have like single quotes around it, and then the backslash in the end. So yeah, I mean, this is you know, it does not really mean a lot other than try to actually practice a little bit of reading backslashes and escape characters. And yeah, I hope like exercise like this could help you guys to get more familiar with what I said, and to actually get yourself a feeling of what is happening right now. Okay, so yeah, let me actually continue the lecture. String formatting. Python provides this thing called percentage 百分号, and then for formatting a string, right? And then, for example, what you can do here is you have a price, right? And then you can print the book's price is something, right? And then this could be a string, this could be whatever, and then followed by this. And then this is a percentage with the variable in it. And what this really means is that like this percentage s in a string is, sort of like a placeholder, right? So it is basically saying, yo, this is a placeholder for a string. I mean, s in this case, is called it stands for string, right? And then this is a placeholder, and what I'm gonna fill in to the placeholder is this value over here. Okay, so it takes the value of the price, change that into a string, and then fill that in to the rest of the string, and then print it out. Okay, so if I run this, you can see the book's price is 108. Okay, yeah, so as I mentioned, percentage s is in this case a placeholder. This entire thing is called conversion specifier. You do not have to remember that because that is not too important as long as you know how to use those. Okay, so yeah, you can see here, name is equal to Ray, age is equal to 21. You can provide 2 of those at the same time, and in fact you can provide like no matter like how many those placeholders, so to speak, you want, and you can just pass in those parameters, right? And this, somebody is a how many years old boy, right? And then you just pass like name, comma, age, and then after you run this, see, yeah, Ray is a 21 years old boy. Okay, so that is the use case for multiple string formatters. Okay, and then other than %s, so you can see here both %s and %i is for integer in base 10. %o is for integer in base 8. %x is for integer in base 16. And %e is for floating point number with scientific notation. %f, or lowercase f, uppercase f is for floating point number, and %c is converts to a single character. And here, so as you can see here, 3.14 is usually denoted as %C, %C, right? So you can tell that there are two characters in here. What are those characters? First one is P, second one is I. So the output will be 3.14 is usually denoted as pi, as easy as that. And %F. %F is this string formatter that is, I think, used a lot more often than other kind of string formatters, because when you are trying to output a decimal number, a floating point number, there are like so much options out there. Okay, and I think we're just gonna talk about it later. And yeah, so the float is like usually denoted as pi, right? And then I can pass in the number 3.14. And I feel like I think float automatically reserves six places of decimal, 6 decimal places. Okay, so it automatically convert the number 3.14 with like 4 trailing zeros. When I mean trailing is that zeros at the end. Okay, and yeah, so that is the use case of %F. We are definitely gonna talk more in the next coding box, but yeah, here. So we have another here. So E, right? This is for scientific notation. Here, %E, and then this following two is because when you're dealing with e's, it is like some number times 10 to the power of some number, right? And then this number here 2 stands for the 10 to the power of some number. Okay, so E2 is usually denoted as pi times 100. I'm just trying to make it equivalent. Yeah, so when I run this, you can see here, so 3.14, and then E to the plus 2, and is usually denoted as pi times 100, which is ideally equivalent. Okay, and then you can definitely change the number here, like you can change it to 10, and you can run this. I suspect that it can change to the negative values as well. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it just sort of goes like that because it has this add. But I mean, it is not usually used. I just put it there, so just so that there is a use case like this. Okay, and here, so the next part, for floating point numbers, we can specify. I mean, not only for floating point numbers, we can literally do the following stuff to like any kind of stuff here. You can do it for %D, you can do it for %O, like whatever those. But like it is usually needs like the use case is most often for floating point numbers, because when you're dealing with some scientific stuff, then it is mostly scientific. It is mostly floating point numbers, and yeah. So let me introduce here. For example, consider this. So this is a simple %F. This is another %F, and this looks messy as hell, because like, what are those things? Like the minus plus 0.8.4. Like, what are those all things? Okay, and let me introduce you a little bit, a bit by bit. So 8. So this is %F, and then this 8 here. So we have decimal places. We can use the decimal place as a guide, or like a way to count the places. The 8, right? The digit before the decimal place. 8 means minimal length to be replaced. Okay, so this is saying that this is a placeholder for, in this case, it will be 8 characters, or like you can think of like 8 spaces. Okay, so the total space allocate for this formatter is 8. Okay, and then 0 means we're gonna pad 0 in the front. Okay, what do you mean by what do I mean by pad 0 in the front? It is that after all these, if for example this 8 space are not all filled, then you will add zeros in the front. And I can give you some examples later to showcase this. Plus, plus means the sign of the number is added, and this does not make this number positive. Okay, and even there is a fact that even the number itself, for example, you pass in a negative value, and you can actually see this is negative instead of positive. Okay, so like positive does not mean that you make this number into positive. This just means that the sign of number is added. So like when the number is positive, then it will show a positive sign in front of it. When the number is negative, it will just show the negative in front of it. Okay, and minus means the replaced text is left aligned. So what does that mean? It means that let me tell you that if you do not add the negative sign, it will be right aligned, which means is that for example, you have 2 decimal places, right? But you have 8 spaces. And this number will actually align to the right. So the last decimal places will be at the last of that 8 space, that 8 space string, I would say. Yeah. And the minus just means replace the text that replace text is left aligned. So it will align to the left. The number 4 after decimal means 4 digits of decimal is reserved. This is most oftenly used. Okay, so as an example, let me actually have it with multiple lines. Okay, so what you can do is let me first the usage first, the usage of 8. Okay, so we can do this. Then we can do 0 means pad 0 in the front. So I delete this. I delete this, and then if I delete this 8 here, then this 0 does not do anything. Okay, I am just gonna for now make it into positive for now, and then I will showcase it later. Okay, so the first those strings are actually pretty much the same. Okay, and then that is because this I think by default it has 6 places, but this is more than that. So yeah, I just do a little bit of casting. Okay, and then this 0 does not actually matter. But if you change this number to like 3.14, you can see here. Yeah, so 3.14. It actually, yeah, it does not. Wait, so yeah, if you do something like this, you assign it to, like, for example, 0. You have a 0.2. So this is the decimal places. Then it will pad 0 in front of it. Other than that, it is maybe a little bit challenging, or I can suspect that if I change this to 10, yeah, that is just it looks just very weird, but you know what I mean. Okay, so like yeah, if I change this to 10, because my decimal places could probably be too long. Yeah, if you change this to 10, you can see here, this is right aligned. Okay, and by default, in front of it is filled in with spaces. Okay, but if you do it for 0, then it will be filled in with zeros. Yeah, I mean, other than 0, don't fill in anything else, because it wouldn't make sense. It would actually probably change the value, and I'm not very sure if it allows you to do that. And in fact, no, it does not. It will just recognize it as a part of this number, so a part of the lens. Okay, so yeah, I mean, don't do anything evil. Don't change the value of the number that you're given. Just, if you want leading zeros, then just add the 0. Okay, here, to add. So let me copy this. For example, if I have this as a negative, it will automatically add it there. And oops. And if you have a plus sign here, for that it does not do anything. Try for a plus. Yeah, so it would actually put out a plus sign in front of it. Okay, and last but not least, this negative means left aligned, and it is showed here. So if I change this to 10, then yeah, you can see there is supposed to be a bunch of trailing zeros, but like it is not there because it is left aligned, and also I limit that into 4. So yeah, that is the use case. The use case for oops, for the exercise. I actually give out you guys the answers, but like yeah, so that was pretty much it for this string formatting. Okay, so I would probably pause a bit and ask if there is questions, and you can type yes or no, or is there anything that it is not clear, because like those things could be interesting, or it could be a little bit of confusing. So yeah, is there any questions, concerns, or where do you want me to elaborate anything? And then you can just type in the chat yes or no, or you can add some comments, whatever. Seems like you guys all did a great job studying. All right, seems there's no problem. This is kind of complicated though. Yeah, it is. And I mean, when I'm talking about it, it is complicated, right? Like you can have a number, right? So this is kind of complicated. I would agree with you, but let me start with this, okay? So I would assume that it is complicated for most of us. So yeah, here, for example, you run this. Okay, you just take a 3.14, right? And then you put it in a float. And then you replace this with 3.14. And it seems like it is automatically padded with 6 significant digits. Not significant digits, but like 6 decimals, right? 小数点后6位嘛，对吧？那么，比如说，那我们再加一个8，再加一个8，或者再加一个10，因为我们这数字比较长。那么10的话呢，确实并没有干什么太多有用的事，因为我觉得这个东西可能是要和其他东西配合来的，所以说光加一个10可能没有什么用处。Like you can use like 0.1. This will definitely work. Yeah, 3.1 is usually denoted as pi. 3.1 is not usually denoted as pi. Like this is just an example, right? So yeah, this 0.1. Yeah, I mean, if you 就是说，如果你记不住所有的这些乱七八糟操作的话，最重要的是，其实就是这个 point one，就是它是保留小数点后几位，其他的东西说实话用不太到。对，最主要的是保留小数点，所以要记住保留小数点这个点，其他的话看一看，熟悉一下，不需要有太大的压力，说一定要把它背出来，怎么样的。对，so yeah, point one, and then after you have this point one, then you can have like 5.1. Oh, there is spaces in front. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you have recognized it, but this point take a place, right? This 3 take a place, this 1 take a place. So this total 5 spaces are like sometimes occupied already by the digits or the numbers itself. Okay, and yeah, this is just a thing to watch. And then if you want to add the plus sign, in this case, it will give you the plus. It will give you the plus sign, right? And if you want to fill the leading part with zeros, you just add a 0, right? So plus 0.01, right? And then if you have larger spaces, for example, I will use 8 as an example, you will have this, right? But if you put minus in here, it will be right aligned, so left aligned, so 就是把所有的东西移到最左边顶格，对吧？然后本来的话其实是右边顶格，然后左边是比如说有 space， 然后有 space 的话，你就可以把它 fill in 0， 对吧？然后呢，这些东西全都是可以叠加的，就是说 like you could totally do like you can totally delete one of them, right? Like you can not fill in with zeros, because if it's left aligned, then it does not matter anymore. 8.4, then you will just get more more characters, right? So if I make this longer, then it will help us round to the nearest 就是小数点后位保留4位嘛，对吧？这个数学之前中小学数学的时候应该都做过这种东西，对吧？那基本上这个就是这个 so-called string formatting. Okay, and then I mean, sounds complicated, a lot of stuff to deal with. I mean, you know what? It is not complicated anymore until like once you actually started coding. Okay, so yeah, my value is 2.71828. And if you guys wonder why I choose this value, it is the value of E. If you do calculus in grade 12, or yeah, you're definitely gonna use it a lot. Not in the decimal format, but like just in the format of E. But yeah, so this is, my value, and then print my value with 10 minimum lengths, sign included, padded with 0 and 5 decimal places. Okay, this is yeah, I will give you 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes if you guys needs more time. But yeah, as you can see, like I'll give you the examples here. If you're still not too clear with it, like yeah. So try to do this. %f, and if I run this, then it is just behaving like this, and then try to do those. Okay. I mean, it is not complicated anymore, and when you actually start to code it, it's like just 百分号打一打，对吧？小数点打一打，前面后面搞一点数字，对吧？然后加加减减往上一放，还有个零，零的话是 padding，加的话是把 sign 显现出来，对吧？减的话是 left align，left align 就是左边顶格，不然 default 就是右边顶格，对吧？小数点后面就是多少保留多少小数点，对吧？这个怎么说呢？真正手打一遍，其实差不多就会了。All right, so yeah, I mean, try to do this and let me know if you're done or not. And then I think I'll maybe wait until like 4:05 or 4:10 and check back with you guys. Okay. And I mean, if there is any questions, feel free to leave it in chat. Other than that, I'll mute myself for a while and just to leave you guys with some quiet time to actually study. All right. Okay, so it is 4:05. I noticed that there is quite a few stuff to go through today. So I'll just start continue talking here. So yeah, anyone got the answer? I mean, you could type into chat, and before I actually review the answer, yeah, sometimes I just do not like looking at those answers when I actually code it. So if someone wants to share it, you can go ahead. Other than that, I'll wait like 1 minute. So before I actually reveal the answer. All right. Oh, yeah. Nice. So yeah, what Geoffrey have here is exactly correct, right? So I am just gonna take your work then. Yeah. Anyways, I'll just type it here. So yeah, present f, right? We start from present f. So 10 minimum length, so which is 10. Sign included. We have a plus here. Padding with 0. We add a 0 here, and then 5 decimal places, 0.5. Right? I mean, look at those. This looks complicated, but like when you actually do it, it's just that. So yeah, that is how it works, right? So it is not as difficult when you actually start to code it, right? It could be difficult to listen to, it could be difficult to understand too. Like once you actually get started, everything turns out nicely. All right. So we are gonna continue next topic. So treat strings as series or list using index. I do not know that you guys have already known the idea of list, but for those ones who studied in Java or C, it is sort of like array. Okay, I mean it is sort of like arrays, but like there is difference, and we will go into detail. I think I don't know, tomorrow. Tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, maybe next week. Yeah. So yeah, we'll get it into detail with that later. Later in the class, but the list is basically a set of elements, right? And a set of elements with order, right? And we can actually treat string as a list because what happened is if you look at those strings, right, it is basically a whole bunch of characters are connected together, right? So like, for example, the first one is P, right? The second one is Y, THON, and then a space, and then blah, 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 right? And then yeah, my favorite string here, Python is the best language. Yeah, so to access each of those characters, you can use you can access a character using the index of the strings, right? So what you can do is print S0, and remember that we are programmers and we actually start counting from 0 instead of 1. Okay, always remember that. And if you have coded before, you should know this. But yeah, if you have not, then we are actually counting from 0 instead of 1 because we are programmers. Okay, so the first, if I print the first character of the string here, you can see is the uppercase P. And then if I print the 6 string here, so if you want to count with me together, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So 6 is the space here, right? And then it has a space. And then I mean, it seems like a blank, but like when you actually use your mouse and click it and then drag it a little bit, you can see how many characters are there. You can select. I mean, you can select the spaces, right? So yeah. So this is a space, and you might wonder, in Python or Java there is no negative index, but here it actually has a thing for negative index, and this is actually means that the last character of the string, which is E here. So if I print as -1, then it will be E, which is the E at the end of the world language, right? And then if you print as -8, you're just gonna count like, right, like -1, -2, -3, -4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this L is -8. So if I print as -8, then it will give me L. Okay, so that is how we actually treat string as a list. Okay, and then by getting 1 characters, it will probably not be very interesting, right? I mean, 1 character does not explain everything. So there's a thing called substring, right? And substring just means that, it is a portion of the original string, right? And it is contained in the string, but not everything is contained in there. So what you can do is like this. So you can do print s, and then square bracket is used for indexing. Sorry, I forgot to mention that in the previous coding box. But yeah, the index. Every index, like when we're dealing with indexes, we are using square brackets. Okay, and then from 0, column 6. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that we're accessing the string from index 0 to index 6. And there comes the inclusion problem. And what I can tell you by a single sentence is that include left, not include right. And what does this mean? So as you can see here, include left means we're gonna include the character with position 0. So P is included. Not include right. So as I printed here, S6 is a space, right? And then when you actually, select this entire line, you can see there is no space after the Python, right? And then this means that we do not include that space. So the actual thing is actually from string 0 to 5 included, and 0 to 6 is not included. Okay, so yeah, that's how it works. It is a little bit tricky. When I first start to learn Python, I have a lot of problem dealing with those indexing. But yeah, it is sometimes tricky to deal with. But yeah, I mean, once you start to code it, you can actually get used to it, right? And I can use a 5 as example, right? If you want to see it more clear. So 5 in this string is the letter N, right? But if you print it here, then the letter N is not included in this string. So which tells you, it includes left, but does not include right. Okay, so we can do, we have introduced negative indexing here on the previous code box. And you might wonder, like, does this actually apply to this as well? And the answer is yes. So you can start from 0, and then you end with -8, and then the -8 is, we have already printed it here, so it is L. Okay, and what happened is it also includes left, not include right. So every indexing in Python, I mean, at least string indexing in Python works like this. So includes left, but not include right. Okay, so as you can see here, so we start from 0 and then all the way until s -8 is L. So if we actually select this line here, you can see after T, there is a space, right? And this space is just this space up here, right? Because we are not including L. Like if we decrease that to 7, then L is included. Okay, I change this back to -8, then it only includes the space. All right, and also what you can do is you have 2 negative indexes, and this works exactly the same as other indexes. You have here -13 to -8, and basically is what happened is you count from right to left 13 characters, right? So negative E is -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. L is -8. The space is -9, and then 10, 11, 12, 13, right? So the character 13. And if you have question about it, you can actually type it, try to print it out, right? So the character -13 in the string is the B here. And then it also follows the rule include left, not include right. Then, right, so you can also see a space here, right? And yeah, so if you change that to -9, then there's no more spaces. It looks pretty good. From -13 to -9, it is the world best. Okay, any questions on this? Yes, no, any sort of reactions? Is there more explanation needed? Because like I don't have, okay, yeah, no, okay, sounds good. So it is a pretty important idea, because on the following of the lecture, we were gonna introduce it more, which is this. So you can also omit the starting index or the ending index. If you omit the starting index, the substring start from the beginning. If you omit the ending index, the substring end until the end of the string. Okay, so what this means is that you can have print 7 and then you just write colon and then you don't write anything, and it assumes that it is from 7 until the end. Okay, and then 7 is space, right? So, oh wait, 7 is not space. 6 is space. 7 is the character I, right? And still follows the same rule: include left and not include right. You include I and all the way until the end. So that is omitting the ending index. And then you can also do this, right? -8. -8 is L, and then you count from right, and then you just select like the last 8 characters. Okay, And then you can also do here, you omit the starting index, which is just do column 13, and then you do not include 13, right? And 13, I believe, is a space. Oh no, 13 is B, right? Yeah, 13 is B. So wait, which one is 13? Um, 1, 2. Yeah, you can count, right? 0. So 13 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13 is the space there. Okay. Yeah, this is negative 13. So negative 13 is B. 13 is the space right after the right? Okay. So right after the, and you're including everything before, right? And then negative 8 also works like this. You're counting from the right, and then you just include everything before, and then you do not include the letter L. Okay, letter L is negative 8. Okay, so that is the indexing of the indexing part of the list. Okay, and here you can also use in operator to check if a substring is in string. So yeah, this in operator, we are going to formally introduce it tomorrow, but you can basically treat it as, this is a point that I actually feel like Python is language, just like English language. Okay, so like you can do Python in S, right? It is basically saying that is Python in string, and the string is Python is the best language. So you print it and then you just get true, right? So Python is indeed in the string S, but mad is not. Okay, mad is mad is definitely not in the string S. And then yeah, if you want to do, y is in S, definitely. Yeah, like you can do other sort of things, but yeah, that is how in operator works, and you can check if there is a substring in a specific string. Okay, and then you can get the length of the string, right? So yeah, you just do length s, right? And length, len is a built-in function for Python. It sort of yeah, it deals with data like lists or strings and those stuff. So you can get the length of the s, and it is indeed 27. Okay, and let me run this. Yeah, 27. And then you can get the max character and the main character in the string. And then what do I mean by max character and main character? So as if you guys have not known this before, there's a thing called ASCII table. And what it does is that basically you have a table of all the keys on your keyboard. Okay, especially from here, like from number 32, right? So yeah, you can check here. So this is the decimal value. This is the hexadecimal value, right? 20. 20, it just means 2 times 16, just gives you 32. Okay, and then in octal it is 40. 4 times 8 is 32. Yeah, anyways, the character space, right? And then 33 is the exclamation mark, double quotes, all of those stuff, all of those stuff. Like every key on your keyboard is somewhere in this table. And then it also includes some stuff that is not in your keyboard, but we do not really care about those. Yeah, so that's the thing. So this is a ASCII, this is called ASCII table. And in here, by I mean max character and the main character just means that how large it is in the ASCII table. So for example, B, lowercase b is larger than lowercase a, right? Because 98 is larger than 97. This is obvious. Lowercase a is also larger than uppercase a, because 98 is larger than 66, right? So yeah, that is what it is, right? So print max of x will definitely be y, because it is pretty large. It is like 121, and then we don't have any kind of those characters here. Those are extended ASCII code. You do not need to worry about this, because those are just weird alphabetical stuff. Okay, and those are like Greek, or yeah, I don't even know. Okay, so yeah, the main should be just space, right? Because space in this table is just 32. So yeah, it will of course be the smallest. Okay, so there's other sort of built-in functions for a string. So title capitalize first character of each word, lower lowers every character, upper capitalize every character. So that is pretty self-explanatory. So if you called s dot title, then you're gonna have Python is the best language with all of those words. It's like capitals in front of it. And then print s lower, then everything is lowered into lowercase, and then print upper is just to make it into uppercase. Okay, so that is that. And actually remember that those functions, unlike other kind of function that we see before, like unlike max or main, right? So in max or main, s is passed in as a parameter. I mean, if you don't know this already, it is okay. We have not covered into function, but I'm just giving you a heads up, and be careful of those. So s is actually passed in as a parameter, but in this case here, title, it is not passed in as a parameter, and it actually calls the function by itself. So it is a member function of that string class, and then you just call like s dot some function, right? And then yeah, so it will take whatever is in s and then make it into a title, right? So Python is best language, right? And then same works here. So s dot lower means take this entire string and then lower that. Okay, so just be careful of those. I'll definitely talk more during our object-oriented part, where we just specifically introduce those ideas. Okay, and yeah, so as for now, we can just remember that those functions, we actually need to have an instance of a string and then call that function using the string. Okay, so deleting white spaces, sometimes in a specific string that you have those white spaces, and it is not good. or we are programmers, we don't do things ourselves, we tell the machine to do it. So deleting those white spaces means that there's a function called s.lstrip, s.rstrip, and s.strip. So lstrip means just take returns a copy of a string with deleting white space removed. Oh yeah, another feature of it is that once you hover it with your mouse, then it tells you what the function does. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit nice. It's a little nice thing that it does. Yeah, so it strips out those white spaces on the left, and then rstrip means just with trailing white space removed. Okay, and then strip is just do both of them. Okay, so that is straightforward, and yeah. So you can see if I print out strip, then the left is stripped. If I do this, the right is stripped. If I don't do this, both is stripped. If I do like s.strip, then both is stripped. And then print the original one. Yeah, and the idea is that, if you call s.lstrip or .rstrip dot or dot strip, it does not change the value of string, right? So after I do all this, if you print s, then the white space is still there. If you want to actually change those, you need to do is s equals to s dot strip, right? Yeah, so that is how you actually do it. If I do this, then this is deleted, right? Like no white spaces remained. But if I don't do this, this is remained as it is. So that is a behavior that needs to be watched out. Okay, search and delete. Search and delete in a string. So starts with, there's a function called starts with, checks if a string starts with a specific substring, okay, and ends with checks a string ends with a specific substring, and find. Okay, so find checks the position of a substring, and if it is not found, then return -1. Okay, and index here. Index tries to find the position of a substring. If not found, then trigger value arrow. Okay, so this I want to elaborate more upon. So find is basically saying that, I'm trying to find this thing, right? And it is not found, then okay, sure. No worries, I'll try somewhere else, right? But index means that I feel like it is already in there. So give me the index, like where exactly that object is, that substring is in the entire string, right? So that is why it basically gives you an arrow, because index, like there is, if you are trying to call index with a with a substring that is not existed in the original string, then it will trigger a value arrow. But if you call find, then it will just give you -1. Okay, so that is something to be watched out. And replace a specific substring with another substring. Okay, definitely. So yeah, if I run this, so Python is the best language. So our string is still like this, and we can print s dot start with Python. It will return true. You can see here, built-in method. Yeah, definitely. It does not give me the exploration of the language, the function, but it's okay. Ends with language, true, definitely. Yeah, interesting is print s dot find best, right? And it will throw me the index, right? And then you call s dot index, right? And then you call best again. Then it will also give me the index of the start of the substring. Okay, and then if you try Java, right, then it gives you an arrow. It's red. We don't like red stuff because it usually means an arrow. Okay, let me change this back to best. Okay, then find with a number. Okay, so it means that we starting from index 20. And what that means is that if we count 20, where's 20? 20, I think it's somewhere here. So it's somewhere starting and somewhere language. And I mean, if you're curious, just do this, right? So S20, what is this? A, right? So I think this is this character here. This is 20, right? And yeah, if you try to find best, starting from index 20, then you will not find anything, right? Because starting from index 20 to until the end, then you will not find anything because the best is here instead of after this letter A, right? And same works like index. You can also pass in another index to start with, and it will also give you an arrow because the substring is not found. Okay, so that's that. So print s dot replace Python comma Java. So I am pretty much replacing this word Python into Java, and then we can run this, and you can see, now Java is the best language. Okay, all right, like that. And if you hover over it, then it says return a copy with or occurrence of substring old replaced by new, right? And then the count is at the maximum number of occurrence to replace. Okay, and then -1 is the default value. It means replace or occurrence. Okay, and I did not include discounts in here as an example because I feel like it is usually it usually needs to replace everything, I think. Yeah, but like it is just there so you know that you could do this, but it does not make sense to like replace how many instances of occurrence of, for example, Python, right? So yeah, that is just there. If you're interested, you can search it up. I will not spend too much time on this because I don't feel like there is any value for you to remember all those. I mean, yeah, programmers are like often referring to Google or Stack Overflow, using them as dictionaries. As long as you know how those language works, then you don't have to remember anything. You just remember where to find those things, then it is fine. Okay. It is not true for an interview though, but like yeah, in your day-to-day life, or you're doing you're doing a project, then go ahead. Okay. Yeah, so that is that. So for replace, to summarize, you just need to know that it by default it replaces all occurrence of this first parameter. In this case is Python. Okay, so it replaces every occurrence of Python and make it into Java. Okay, and then split and join. Okay, my string is equal to s dot split, and then I passed in a parameter which is the character e. Okay, what does mean? What does this mean? Right? What this means is that we are splitting my string into different substrings um, with respect to e. Okay, and then what happened is here Python is th, and then there was supposed to be a e here, but it is used for a splitting character, so it is no longer there anymore. Okay, so this e is no longer there, right? And then there is a space, there is a b, and then the world best has an e as well, so it is also did a split, right? And then yeah, and then do those, and then at the end the world language has an e in the end, so it actually splits it as well, but like at the end there's only empty string because there's nothing else on the right side of e, so you just might fill it with the empty string. Okay, and then you can see here print my string, and then if you do not pass in anything, right? So my string equals to s dot split, and then by default it is splitting by space, which is what we usually want, right? We just usually want to like strip every world and then do anything. And one use case of it is in natural language processing. This is beyond the scope of this course, but like in natural language processing, you'll definitely need this step, right? Like you're having a whole bunch of worlds, and the first step you will definitely need to split it, because an entire string of data does not work for you and does not do what you want them to do. So definitely break them into words first and then analyze it further, right? Yeah. And then if you print my string, then here you can see it here. Okay, and then join, right? On the opposite, you know how to split, then you definitely need to know how to join. So yeah, so it is pretty weird behavior. I wouldn't say it's weird, but like it is something that you have not seen before, probably. So it says with a character, I use it as a question mark. It does not actually matter what you actually use. Like you can do what you can do this, maybe smiley face, and then and then every between every world there, instead of a space there is a smiley face. Looks pretty creepy, but that's just what you can do, right? So question mark, run this. So yeah, so this is used as joins and this stuff to join this my string here, and then my string well, yeah. So here I want to mention that this question mark is a string, but this my string is actually a list instead of a string. So it is already splitted into a list like this. Okay, and then you can join it further with like adding characters in between each of them. Okay, and yeah, so we have not yet covered list, but we have already go through some of the use cases of list. Hopefully it will be easier for us to actually study that during okay. So yeah, that is everything. Like in terms of lecture, that is everything that I am prepared for today. and I actually have 3 exercises, and I am just gonna briefly introduce you to those exercises. And yeah, so this is a sample text that I just copied from the internet. It is a introduction to a Python programming book. I don't know. Yeah. And then the first exercise is find the first substring Python on the second half of the string and then replace it by C++. Okay. And then what you will do is basically you cut the string into half, and then you just replace that the other, like the first occurrence of the other half of Python, and then replace it to C++. Okay, and then there is a hint that I want to mention, is that the idea of integer division is to do division in a normal way, but only keep the integer part of the answer. And then if you do not understand, in Chinese, it's 整除, okay? So like you just do the divide and then you ignore the decimal places. For example, 5 divided by 3 is equal to 1. And you might argue, no, it is equal to 1.6666. But like we are doing integer division, we do not care about it. Okay, so yeah, this can be done by doing a/n, and this is forward slash instead of backward slash. Okay, so I would like to pronounce it as divide and like this is just a name that I made up. Uh, yeah, so if you want an example, then you can just do 5 divided by 3, then it will give you the answer 1. Okay, where n is the number that you want to divide. Okay, so yeah, this is the first exercise that I want to introduce to you guys. The second exercise, write a Python program to get a single string from 2 given strings, and then separate it by a space and swap the first 2 characters for each string. Okay, so oops. Yeah, so the sample string will be AB. Sorry, I don't do this anymore. Okay, so the sample string will be ABC and then XYZ. And then what you will need to do is you take out XY, and then you basically swap the position of AB and XY, and then connect both of the 2 strings into one single string, okay, with a space into it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, the setup can be S1 is equal to ABC, and then S2 is equal to XYZ, and you know, you need to print some, for example, S3 that is behavior like this. Okay, then I mean, you can also change S1 and S2, and yeah, I mean, it could be arbitrary lengths, right? So like A, B, C, D, E, F, or those sort of things like that. Yeah, and yeah, as programmers, you just need to consider those. Okay, and the last but not least should be a easy one. Write a Python script that takes input from the user and displays the input back in upper and lower cases. Okay, that's just an easy one. There's a method called upper. There's a method called lower. You have learned method input, so that is easy one. I would say the first 2 are a little bit more challenging. And yeah, so question and answer period. I am done teaching today, and if there are any questions, any concerns, anything that I am not very clear yet, this is your time to speak up. Okay. Are you going to take it up later? Um, what I plan is, since there is only 10 minutes left and I actually want you guys to actually try it out yourself, I am gonna take up first thing tomorrow. Okay. Oh yeah, and also speaking of that, tomorrow's lecture will back from 3 p.m. to like 10 a.m. Okay, so should be 10 a.m. to 12. I think it is not a.m. It is not. It is p.m. Okay, I mean like 10 a.m. to 11:59 a.m. Okay, let's just put it that way so that we do not confuse as I start a lecture from like 10 a.m. and all the way to midnight. Okay, so yeah, so tomorrow's lecture time will be 10 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. and the link will still using Jennifer's Zoom link. And yeah, any other questions? Any questions in terms of today's lecture? You can feel free to speak up. I guess you guys are just already started coding. Yeah, so that's fun. I mean, coding is generally fun, especially when you get the correct answer. You're just like the happiest person in the world. Yeah, I mean, if it is, if it sounds too nerdy or too weird, forgive me. But yeah, that is my feelings. Mhm. 唉，有没有人想要开麦吹吹牛？感觉上课难度怎么样？有没有太快或者太难的？觉得应该我觉得应该还可以吧。我不是
我觉
我
得没什么问题，
还可以是可以。
对，还能接受的。
需不需要就是说更多的 interaction 这样子？有没有？嗯。
我想问一下，就是练习一的这个 on the second half of the string 的意思，是不是就是把这一句的后半段的那个 Python 换成 C 加加？
对对，是
啊，
把精确的来说是把后半段的第一个换成 C 加加，
后半段的第一个换成 C 加加。
因为
啊，
对，如果就是因为这个 find function，我可能在前面课里面没有提到，因为我给的 因为我给的这个example 里面只有比如说一个 occurrence，你要比如说我在这边把它改成 e，它应该只会给第一个 occurrence。你看，如果说我这边 s.find e， 对吧？那么它只能给12，对吧？你看前面都没有 e， 但是后面只能给12。但是你如果要找最后这个 e， 你光靠这个 find 你不一定能找到，对吧？但是你如果比如说做一些 indexing， 如果说你从13开始找，那这样你就能找到，你就能找到后面这个，后面这个
好
e，
的，
对吧？
好的，谢谢。
对，是。哦，他找的不是 best 的这个 e， 他找的是 the 的这个 e。对，然后在 chat 里面回答一些问题。这样还有一个点，在这个 second question 里面，我这边说的确实是，比如说我 S1是 ABC，S2是 XYZ，对吧？那么可能说我这边题目出的不太好，或者出的比较简单，就是说，那如果你这样，那如果我是这样 input。这样 first string， right? And then 你放这个 input second string， right？ 如果说我 run 这样的话，你比如我这样，对吧？我随便 type ABC， 对吧？然后 second is 什么 IJK 这种的，然后你可能就需要改一下你的那个 solution， 对吧？那么如果说我现在给你是 ABC， 那你要是你的 program 你不给你 ABC， 你这 program work 不了，那你岂不得被骂死，是吧？说实话，对吧？那你可能就是说 every time you deal with like user inputs, right? Like you don't know what user is gonna give you, but you still need to handle it because you're programmers and you're just, you design it and this is your job, right? 所
这让我
以就是说，
想到了一个梗，就是程序员弄完之后，顾客进来点了个炒饭，然后酒吧炸了。
是啊，你得 handle，你不能说你点了个炒饭，我把什么鸡尾酒给你炒一炒，
对，永远不知道顾客会是要什么。
对吧？你得告诉他，我们这儿没有，
对，
对吧？你至少得有这样，就是说，你至少需要这样的，就是 error detection 或者是处理这样 error 的这样的能力，
或者做一个判定，如果输入是别的，请重新输。
对，就是你可能得需要就是 if statement 这样子，之后我们会学，就是这种情况得处理。
然后还有一个问题就是那个 replace 可不可以定点去换呀？因为我试了一下，如果是光是把 Python 换成 C 加，是全部都换，有没有专门就比如我想换 index 是哪一块的 Python，我想专门换它一个，有没有相关的那种
replace 确实是全都换掉，然后它这个，比如说你看它这个 parameter 里面， 看它不出来。它这个 parameter 里面它是 count 对吧？那么它
就是
这边解释 count 的意思就是说，你只能比如说你数几个，然后它给你换。那所以说其实这个方法是不是很行的？你可以，你可能需要找一些其他的方法。对，
其他方法 copy 一下，然后手改。
I mean，对，你就我又没有让你在原来的 string 上改，对吧？
哎，
是啊 try to be smart。
老师，所以说在 exercise 2，你想要的就是 replace 2个 different string 的前2个 variable 对吗？
对的，是的。
只要前2个，就是把上面和下面的前2个换一下。
目前只需要前2个。OK， so 时间确实是到了，好吧？那么就是说，如果对于这些个 exercise，有问题的话，明天我会用上课前一段的时间，统一的解答一下，好吧？然后看一下每个的问题怎么样，好吧？那么今天的课的那就先到这里。有没有如果下了课有什么问题想问我的话，其实也可以在那个 Discord 的 channel， 或者你找我 DM 也可以，好吧？那么今天就先这样了。
好的，谢谢老师。
好的，没事，叫瑞就行，好吧？瑞。
好的。
好，那就先这样了。
拜拜。
拜拜。